All right, everybody. Good evening. We'll give everyone a chance to jump in here. Welcome to Joel's College of Swing Era Knowledge. Cause I got happy feet. All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Joel's College of Swing Era Knowledge, where I share my 20 plus years of experience teaching swing dancing for all of you. And tonight's main topic is, well, Lindy Hop Jitterbug, but I put Jitterbug first because of the focus of this evening. So I have different topics. I did a Lindy Hop topic a couple days ago, and then this is kind of Jitterbug-ish, if you will. So I put Jitterbug / Lindy Hop. And the focus tonight is 6 count or 8 count. Now, I bring this up somewhat as a teacher training, but also it's definitely one of the major questions that gets brought up to me in private lessons, especially from followers, but also from leaders when it comes to beginners in the dance. And so the first thing we need to talk about is the answer to that question. And I saw somebody post a comment on one of my promo postings, and it was almost right. And I think she said both, which is a very good answer. And so I'll give you what my answer is whenever this comes up. So I'm in a private lesson. Usually, if it's a beginner follower, they've taken a few classes. They go out, they social dance. And of course, we all know if you're an intermediate / advanced dancer, or however you need to label the levels, but if you've been going out dancing enough, you know that there's typically, and we'll get into this 6 count thing and this 8 count thing, and a brand new person is out on the floor and trying to figure it all out and can get fairly confused. So the question then pops up in the private: how am I supposed to know if it's 6 count or 8 count? And my answer: you don't. There you go. There's the big giveaway. You don't. As a follower, you don't know whether it's going to be a 6 count or an 8 count. When you get asked to the dance floor, unless somebody comes up to you and says, would you like to do some Lindy Hop? Would you like to dance some Jitterbug? Would you like to do Balboa? Would you like to dance some Shag? If they are specific in how they ask you to dance, then you kind of know what they're going to get into. But for the most part, you go up to someone, would you like to dance? You go out on the floor. Sometimes the song is already playing, so you have an idea of the tempo, the feel. Sometimes it's not. Live music night, you go out and the band's trying to figure out what's going on next. You're chatting with this person, and then the band leader counts the band in, and there you go. Well, you have no idea if the person that asked you to dance just said, would you want to dance? What's happening next? What's going to be that initial movement? What's going to be that initial step? So the followers always look at me interestingly like, what do you mean I don't? I'm like, you literally have no idea whether this next sequence of moves and rhythms and steps is going to be 6 count or 8 count. Now, on the leader end, this is where it gets tricky. For leaders, if you're a beginner leader, you do know. This is going to sound weird. If you're a beginner leader, you do know. Why? Because let's say you start out and you start going to that basic Jitterbug 6 count, whatever you want to call it, 6 count Lindy class. And you know rock step, triple, triple. And that's it. And then you've had 2 or 3 weeks of it. Well, guess what? You are going to live in that 6 count land. And you may do something because of the music or because you mess up or something you might have seen, but you haven't been dancing long enough to realize that there's these other things. So you live in 6 count land. So you kind of know, that you're going to be doing 6, or for example, somebody starts with Lindy Hop, and so we could label that as an 8 count dance. And again, we'll get into nuances later. But now that this leader knows it's an 8 count dance, and followers, you've danced with those beginner leaders that just give you swing out after swing out after swing out, and it's beautiful because you get to practice, but it's 8 count, 8 count, 8 count, 8 count, 8 count. That leader knows. And as a follower, you probably realize this, and you know you're going to get a full dance of 8 count steps. My point is, though, you initially don't know as a follower. Now back to the leaders. As you progress in this dance, when you start to learn more dances, when you get more things in your repertoire, I can honestly say that on the social floor nowadays, it is rare that even I know if it's going to be a 6 or an 8. Because I might hear something in the music, I might be listening to my partner, I might interpret something, or somebody might get in the way, or I've got all these other things that are influencing my dancing. And so at the end of the day, I will go back to, you don't know if you're a more intermediate advanced leader. You're allowing the music and your partner to kind of let things flow. But again, that only comes with time and only comes with repertoire. And this is the point of tonight's discussion / class. Okay, so there's the big answer to the question. You don't know if it's 6 or 8. So again, for followers, you got to feel what's going on. And then for leaders, depending on your level, the answer to that 6 count or 8 count can vary. Now, in the title of tonight's theme, it says 6 or 8. I'm going to get there in a second, but I want to finalize this, kind of talk about leaders and followers as far as like you don't know what it is, but I want to talk about your job. So then when the followers that I do private lessons with, they bring that question to the table. Is it 6 or 8? I say you don't. They get confused. Then I explain to them your job, right? If we have to label your job on the social dance floor, as a follower, your job is to feel or receive the rhythm, the step, the shape. And as a leader, and this is where I go on to explain, my job as a really good leader is to give you a rhythm, a shape, a figure, a move, right? And so, ooh, that sun is like beautiful right now. Okay, so listen to that again. Leaders, it's your job to give the rhythm and the shape and the figures to your partner. And followers, it's your job to receive that. And like Frankie would always say, like it's a gift. You know, you're giving a gift to a person, and that gift is your energy, your motion, your movement to your partner. And then the partner in turn receives that. And Jackie will often say, like, she never assumes a basic. She never assumes what the step is going to be. She's waiting for the leader to provide that information, right? So now you go out on the floor. You don't know if it's 6 or 8. As a leader, hopefully you've got an idea of where you're going, but the music might tweak or change, or how you want to start, or in the middle of a figure or whatnot. And so you're giving that rhythm and shape, and the followers, you are receiving that. Okay, so that's the big answer to the 6 count or 8 count question. There's your role or your job on the dance floor. Now let's get to it. Okay, now we can get up. Now, let's see. Let me get this going right over here. Get that down on my feet a little bit more. And let me get this going so you can hear me well. Okay, so now, if you're watching, my left pant leg is rolled up and my right pant leg is down. So hopefully this all looks good. I'm going to face you for these first few things. But if you watch this, I'm just going to count in, but I'm going to be quiet, and then you can tell me what this was. 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to do that from the back. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now hopefully I made enough a little bit noise where maybe you heard that, but hopefully you definitely saw that. And so now that would be what we would consider, if we had to label it, the basic 6 count Lindy, Jitterbug, again, however you want to label that dance. And it typically has what we're going to call a rock step. And I did a whole session on like the rock step, like not just labeling it the rock step, but it's 2 steps, 1, 2, followed by a triple step, triple step. And if we count that, we would have a 1, 2, 3, a 4, 5, a 6. And now I'm ready with that left foot again if I'm leading to repeat that pattern. Now, if you're following and you feel that rhythm, you're going to go back on your right foot, then triple step and triple step. So for tonight's lesson, if you're normally a follower, try doing the leader foot consistently through these rhythms I'm going to work with. And if you're a leader, try doing the follower footwork. I might go back and forth. We'll see. Again, we want to talk about like the big question 6 or 8. So we're going to label that as a basic 6 count rhythm. So let's do this together. I'm going to do 2 of them, just calling out the rhythm, going back on my left foot as a leader, and then we'll repeat on the right side to be ambidextrous. So I'll count you in. I'm going to do the rhythm of the step, and I'm going to do the count of the step. 5, 6, here we go. A rock step, triple step, triple step, a 1, 2, 3, a 4, 5, a 6. Okay, now for you teachers out there, you could say rock step or you could say step step. Either way, I want you to be careful that it's just like not saying rock step for the sake of a rock step. Let's do that again, and now I'm going to start back on my right foot, aka follower footwork. 5, 6, here we go. A rock step, triple step, triple step, a 1, 2, 3, a 4, 5, a 6. Okay, so we worked that basic, what we're going to call 6 count jitterbug rhythm. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I always forget about that light coming through. Sorry about that. Very professional here. Thank you for reminding me to close that off. All the other lights on. I think that's going to, yes, thank you so much. Okay, so now we have, going back to like your job. So I talked about like the leaders like create the rhythm, you give the rhythm, and the followers receive the rhythm. I have literally been on the social floor where I ask someone to dance, I take them on the dance floor, I don't lead anything, and I can feel the follower go into rock step triple triple. Now what does that do for me? That for me tells me right off the bat that this person, and it's not a big deal, this person just didn't learn about the lead follow of the dance. They're making an assumption that I'm going to do this thing that they've obviously learned. So now I know they've definitely been in a 6 count Jitterbug, 6 count Lindy class because they're already doing the footwork that they think we're supposed to be doing. So then I have a choice as a leader at that point. I can feel that this person's doing a 6 count rhythm. Now, as a leader, do I try to like overdo it and try to force this person into following what I'm going to do? Or do I just kind of basically follow their rhythm and allow them to do what they're going to do and make it work? Now, again, this depends on your level. If you are a beginner leader in this situation, you're going to think that something is wrong. You're going to maybe freak out a little bit. You're going to try to force the follower to do what you learned in class. What if you learned Lindy Hop and you've got an 8 count rhythm, which we're going to get to? But the point I want to bring up it with is like, this is kind of the common, like basic kind of go-to, rock step, triple, triple. You can feel a lot of people do it. You can see a lot of people do it. And so for me though, if as a more intermediate advanced dancer, I'll actually follow, listen to this, I'm leading, but I'm going to follow the rhythm that I know this beginner dancer feels comfortable with. And I'm going to lead this follower through shapes, hopefully, that match their rhythm. Because I want them to look good and I want them to feel good. They'll get there eventually. I don't have to force them into knowing the answer to 6 count or 8 count if I know their comfort zone is in 6 or 8. It might happen the other way. It's not as common, but once in a while you will feel somebody just constantly doing Lindy footwork. even though you're trying different things. Now, again, as a leader, you have a choice to kind of work with that. Now, again, followers out there, again, beginner followers, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah, now I really need to pay attention to, like, now this is all the class stuff, the technique, the frame, the connection. Hopefully you're getting that from your local teachers. And so this is where that comes into play for you to feel the rhythm that we just did, that 6-count rhythm. So now let's jump into, again, the title of tonight's class. Let's jump into the 8-count. So if 6-count is step, step, triple step, just in general, then we can make the assumption, we're gonna dive into this a little more later, an 8-count basic rhythm would be what? Yes, I heard you all out there. Step, step, triple step, 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 triple step. Now for you teachers out there, this is why I always encourage teachers to kind of teach that the basic jitterbug is a rock, step, triple, triple. Then when your students progress into Lindy Hop, it's really simple because it's just those 2 steps. Now, for example, a ballroom style, they would usually start with a side step, maybe single, maybe triple, rock step. And so it's really hard to get that ingrained out of their muscle memory to start with a triple. It's not a big deal. But then when they go to a Lindy Hop class and they start with that step, step, triple step, it kind of throws them for a loop. So this is a nice progression. So you have your rock, step, triple, triple for your jitterbug. And now if you watch, if I'm leading, I have that step, step, triple step, and single, single, triple step. Watch that from the back. So I'm going to go a 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Yeah? And now, if you're following, you would feel that rhythm and do that on your right foot. Yeah? Okay, so let's do this just like before. Let's do this from the back. I'm going to do the leader's footwork first. I'm going to count out the rhythm and then the count. Do it with me. 5, 6, here we go. A step, step, triple step, a step, a step, a triple step. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's be ambidextrous. Let's do that going back on the right foot or the first 2 steps starting with the right foot. 5, 6, followers rhythm, step, step, triple step, and step, and triple step. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so now we have just danced through what we're going to call the basic 6-count rock, step, triple, triple. We danced through the basic 8-count rock, step, triple step, 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 triple step. Now, okay, hello from New Zealand. Look at that. Oh, okay, excellent. Good to see everybody. We definitely do more 8 than 6 in Brisbane. Cool. And see, and this is the cool thing. You'll go into a community, and maybe the community is really like based in Lindy Hop, so it's going to be a lot of 8-count stuff in general. Again, we'll get there. Or you have a community that does more jitterbug 6-county stuff, or maybe how dare they have a community of Balboa dancers. We'll get into that rhythm as well. So the point is, yes, every community is going to have a different preference, different feel based on the teachers that are having that influence in that community. And I did a teacher discussion a long time ago. I would highly encourage any teachers out there to really get well versed in all the swing era dances, because I personally want a swing dance community. What do I mean by that? If a fast song comes on, we can dance fast. If a slow song comes on, we can dance slow. If it feels like a shag kind of thing, I want to do shag. If it feels Balboa-ish, I want to do Bal, Lindy, Charleston, blues, all kinds of stuff. St. Louis shag. I mean, throw it all in there, and now you have a swing dance community that can dance to everything. And this is part of it, knowing and understanding the difference between 6 or 8. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put on a slow-ish song. and I'm going to dance some things, and I want you to watch. And this is going back to the job of a leader, but just watch one time. I'm going to play something slow-ish, I hope. Let's see. Okay, so just watch the rhythms for a second. Okay, so now I'm not overly concerned. Sorry, dropped my music there. I'm not overly concerned with what we're going to call musicality right now, but I wanted you to watch what I did. Now, hopefully, what you saw. Now I got to remember as I was doing this other stuff. I did a 6, an 8, an 8, and a 6. And then the reason I say hopefully you saw, because if I'm leading and I lead with great clarity in the quality of my movement, in the rhythm I'm taking with my feet, that's going to translate over to your partner. So here's the thing. You'll notice, like as I did the footwork, you have a choice. I could do the footwork like this. Now you might have heard it, right? Or I could go, right? You heard it, but there's no movement, there's no motion, there's no flow with it. So right off the bat, and again, you can start with a rock step, like stepping back, leading that. You can start with a side. Like the point there is like, I'm going to create a rhythm and a shape so you can see that I have a movement. Maybe it's forward, back, triple step, back, forward, triple step. It might be step, step, triple step, triple step. But I'm going to try to create some motion, some flow, some rhythm in my own body as a leader. And again, I'm giving that to my partner. So for all of you leaders out there or people wanting to lead, I know if you're a beginner, you're just trying to figure out the footwork, and so you might march it right underneath your hips. And that's fine to start out with, just to get a feel for the beat. But at some point, you have to translate this to your partner. This is the whole essence of partner dancing. So how do I use my frame, my connection with my partner? I don't care if it's closed, open, whatever. That's a whole nother discussion that we can have. But rhythmically, how can I make this rhythm translate over to my partner? Now, this doesn't necessarily mean it has to be big or take a lot of space across the floor. It just means that I'm really being diligent and, what's the right word? Being, it'll come to me. I'm being very clear. I'm trying to have clarity in my movement. Now, as a follower, when you have good frame and good technique, then you're going to feel these rhythms through that frame. And if you don't have that frame, and we've all been there, when I started following, I was just trying to guess what was going on, and my frame was completely independent from my partner, and my feet were just all over the place. It wasn't until I clicked in my frame with my partner, and again, I received the gift of that rhythm that my partner was giving me, if that leader was being clear in their shape and their movement and their figures, right? So it's that beautiful symbiotic relationship. Purposeful, there it is. So leaders, if you're being very purposeful in your rhythm, in your footwork, then your follower will feel, right, that movement. And we talk about bending your knees, getting down into the floor. All that's the technique that makes it all work. Okay, so again, I put that song on, and I did some 6s, some 8s, and then another 6, right? And again, you want to look at that with clarity. Okay, so now let's see if we have any other questions. We're good. I'm going to put that song on again, because now we're going to get to my next point. So remember, we have basic 6 count. We're making an assumption. Step, step, triple, triple. If you want to say rock, step, triple, triple, that's fine. Our basic 8 count, rock, step, triple, step, 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 triple, step. Okay, now I'm going to play a little bit. I'm going to put that back on again. Hopefully it won't fall down this time. And watch closely. Okay, so now here's another song.
I hate to see that evening sun go down. And I hate to see.
Oh, did you see it?
That evening sun go down. 'Cause my baby, she done left this town.
Okay. Oh man, I did too much because now I can't remember what I did. But again, hopefully you saw some things there. Can you type it in? Because I know I'm gonna be like, what did I do? All right, we got a bunch of folks watching. Can you type in some things that you saw? I definitely deviated from what we're gonna call the basic 6 count and the basic 8 count. How did I deviate from that? Type it in. Let's see. I know there's a little bit of a delay. Might have to think about it a little bit. Oh, come on, folks. Make me proud. Oh, okay. No, oh, everybody's jockeying. Okay, love it. If I had to give the step that I did a name, jockeying could be good. Oh, there we go. 6s, 8s, quick. Cool. I like quick. Added like a 2-step. Yeah, a 2-step. There we go. So now, beautiful. Quicks and slows. Yay! Yes. Now here's why I'm like yay. Because you saw it. I made it so clear, even with the delay and the music. It may not have synced up with my feet, but my movement was so clear, and it wasn't big. I wasn't making these huge movements, but I was very clear, very purposeful, very diligent in my movement. So yes, I added some, however we want to label it, slows and quicks, 2 count and 4 count, right? And so now we get into, now let's talk about, again, the jitterbug rhythm. Everything, this is where it gets crazy. Everything's 2 counts, right? But I have 1, 2, 1, a 2, 1, a 2, and I repeat. Lindy hop, everything's 2 counts. 1, 2, 1, a 2, 1, 2, 1, a 2. Yes, do you see where I'm going with this? And now I have a choice on that 1, 2. We already did this in the rock step. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And some people could label this quick, 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 quick. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now I'm going to change it to 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now this is what I think Tom was saying would be jockeying, right? So you can jockey 1, 3, 5, 7, and you boom, do your thing, right? So again, we could label these things as a specific step, or we can just think of it as rhythms. We go back to the initial question of this entire session, 6 count or 8 count. We don't know. So labeling it 6 or 8 actually kind of narrows our view of the entire dance. Every dance is going to have a certain rhythm, right? So now Charleston, you have a rock step, kick, and kick step. Yes, the basic is an 8 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But what is it comprised of? A step, 1, 2. A kick step, 3, 4. A kick up, 5, 6. A kick step, 7, 8. Balboa, step, hold, step, hold step. It's comprised of a 2-count step, step, a 2-count hold step, a 2-count step, step, a 2-count hold step. Yeah? Shag. Slow, slow, quick, quick. Step, hop, quick, quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6. Quick, 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 quick. Slow, 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 slow. And you get into the craziness of, is it single rhythm, double rhythm, or triple rhythm shag? Turned around. Oh, did you need me to turn? Oh, maybe you needed me to turn around, or did I turn around the rhythms? Yes. Okay, so let me turn around on all this stuff. I just threw a lot of stuff out at you. Okay? So here we are. Let's all do, and then right now you make a choice. You're either going to do leader footwork or follower footwork. I'm not going to do both. I'm personally just going to do leader footwork. Okay, so I'm going to go through all these crazy rhythms. So remember, the key answer to is it 6 or 8? You don't know. So the rhythms that we just went through, basic 6-count. 5, 6, here we go. A step, step, triple step, 1, 2, 3, a 4, 5, a 6. Okay, let's go through let's call it basic 8-count. 5, 6, the rhythm is a step, step, triple step, 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 triple step. It's 1, 2, 3, a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now the next 2 rhythms I did, slows or quicks. Let's start with the quick. And you can think of that as a rock step. So 5, 6, repeat the quicks. Quick, 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 quick. You could do a rock, step, or side to side, or take a foot forward and back. Boom, boom. 1, 1, 1, 1, and 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 quick, and quick. 2-count, you could go 1, 2, 1, 2, step, gather, step, gather. Tom called this a jockey, a jockey. Again, take a foot forward or back, move back and forth. 1, 2, 1, 2. So now this is a 2-count rhythm. 1, 2 with a step and a hold. 1, 2, 1, 2. We can do a 2-count rhythm doing quick. 1, 2, and repeat. 1, 2, 1, 2. So again, as we dance through all of these different things, now you're putting everything together. Yeah? Okay, so now every dance that you're going to learn is going to be broken down into these series of quicks and slows, right? You're either going to be stepping on a foot, or holding a foot, or kicking a foot, or doing something with a foot. And those somethings are the rhythms of the dance. And then, as a follower, the more repertoire you get, as you're receiving this information, as a leader giving you a certain rhythm, you might put some flair or some little extra styling on this rhythm, right? And so now in the big picture, the next thing when going back to my private lesson with the follower is, then the next question a follower typically has is, well, what footwork am I supposed to do? And again, I hate to like burst everyone's bubbles like, oh yeah, that's a good one. I don't care. Ooh, and they're like, what? I'm like, it doesn't matter to me what footwork you do. Because when I dance with more advanced followers, they do all kinds of slides and cool things with their feet that may be absolutely different than like the basic core rhythm that I'm doing, but they're following the count of it, like the shape of it, the flow of it. Like I made this move a 6, or I made this move an 8, or I made it a 4, right? And then like there's just these different timings that I'm leading, and the follower is interpreting that and putting in footwork accordingly. That's a very difficult concept for a brand new follower to get, but the more you dance, you completely know what I'm talking about. And leaders, we're the same way. I can lead something that would be like that basic rock step triple pattern, but I might do different things with my feet other than that. Okay, so then the last thing I want to bring up for tonight, and we'll wrap this up because I think you obviously know that the answer to everything, 6 or 8, you don't know. It doesn't matter. It all comes down to the rhythms created and followed. But now let's get a little more into the quality of movement. Again, if you do things right underneath you, quick step, step, hold, triple steps, right? If you're just here like that, then it's not going to do anything for your partner. So I'm staying right on this spot, and I'm doing 1, 1, 1, 1. I'm doing 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm doing triple step, triple step, triple step, but everything's on the spot right underneath me. It's not going to translate to your partner. Same thing for followers. If you're just dancing and trying to stay safe right underneath yourself, you're going to miss a lot. So now, if we go back to that single step, notice I'm moving left, then right, then left, then right. So it's 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and. Now if I change it to 2, 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2. You can even see it more emphasize that gathering or that movement. Now I bring that up because that's important. Even in the quick steps, as I move quickly, you can see that there's a slight little gather. Boom, and then I change direction. Boom. Even if I triple step, triple step, triple step, triple step, triple step, triple step. If I single step, single, 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 right? Single step with a 2 count rhythm. Now a single step with a 1 count rhythm. 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1. And hopefully you can see that there's this little gather. That little gather in between. For both leaders and followers, that's going to be a key quality of movement that comes into any dance, right? And so that's that giving that I talked about for the leader's job. You want to give a good rhythm, and so that movement in between, that little gather to have that feel or that flow is going to be really important. It doesn't matter what dance you do. I can guarantee you I can break it down and show you where those gathers become really important. And as I watch students in class, a lot of times the reason they're missing the difference between 6 or 8 or 2 or 4 or whatever is the lack of this quality of movement and this clarity and this purposeful movement. And then on the follower end, being able to have that frame and that connection. And it's those in-betweens, those ands that allow you to feel a change of direction, a feel of a shape, a feel of a rhythm. And then again, you're choosing to step, to kick, to triple, and then you put it all together. So leaders, hopefully after this lesson, you can realize you have the basic core rhythms that you can work with, whether it's jitterbug, Lindy hop, shag, Balboa, whatever. You have those basic building blocks. Followers, you want to have knowledge of those basic building blocks work together. But everything then will deviate and come off of these rhythms and these shapes for you to be really creative in the dance. It all comes down to really committing to those weight transfers and making them obvious, isn't it? Yes. And again, my whole point of just getting up and moving for you to see it, I think especially if you're a teacher and you're in class, you'll see the students that are really committing to the movement, and chances are that partnership between that leader and that follower, it's probably going to work well. And you can see the students that are just kind of doing the footwork underneath themselves. You can see the lack of connection. You can see the lack of movement, and you can see it in the followers' eyes especially. They're just like, where am I supposed to go? What rhythm am I supposed to do? Meanwhile, the leader's standing there maybe even doing the correct footwork, but doing it right underneath them. So again, that's why I bring up that good weight shift and everything. So ladies and gentlemen, I hate to be a party pooper, but the answer to, is it 6 or 8? I don't know. You tell me. Be creative on the dance floor. Leaders, take this, run with it, right? Stick with your basic rhythms, create different rhythms. Listen to the music, let the music drive your movement. Followers, understand all the basic rhythms of all the swing era dances. have that good quality of movement, being able to feel the rhythms that the leader is giving you. Listen closely to the music. Let that be your inspiration for what kind of steps and what kind of movement you do. And then from this point forward, you won't worry about 6 or 8. You're just going to be dancing. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed tonight's lesson. Ooh, we went about 40 minutes, a little longer than our usual. But if you enjoyed this, please, 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 please donate. I can't stress enough how important that is for us to be able to keep offering this to you. We're getting sometimes well over 100 views, so even $1, right? If 100 people have watched this and they give $1, believe me, my family would love that. But think about any hour-long class or 30-minute class that you normally take. What would you spend on that? Send it my way, because I hope tonight was helpful to you. I hope everyone's being safe out there. I hope we get out to the dance floor sooner than later, but who knows? But you can practice all of these things, and then we can go from there. As always, this is Joel's College of Swing Era Knowledge. Thank you for chiming in. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for watching. And night, night. Crazy about you. Yes, Mike, I will give you a call.